How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go and do this mission. I tried to attempt it yesterday. It's called Lifeline. It's one of the it's in the contracts, in the top list of contracts, and at the start all of them were locked. This is the only one I've got unlocked so far. Yeah, I was planning on taking Dan. There's kind of been a bit of a change of plans with this mission. You'll see halfway through, so I've kind of heavily edited the first bit. But basically, yeah, I've got to go from the garage to that farm, grab two large pipes, so they're 4 slot each. I happen to leave the 2 ramped flatbeds at the farm from when I did that build additional farmhouses mission, then cut across that stupid bridge. I'm going to go this bottom way along the road just to avoid that bit at the top with the wooden planks. And yeah, in theory, I've got all the roadblocks uncovered. It should be relatively smooth sailing, and I wanted to bring Dan just because I've not really used him since this new update, and I wanted to see kind of how it fares, if it manages to tackle this map or not. I've got an OG loaf in the back. To be honest, I was just messing around to see if I could even put a loaf on top and get it to pack. And yeah, if you put a loaf sort of straight on, one of his tyres sits on the air filters that you can't remove or anything. But I ended up, if I put him on a bit of an angle, it actually let me pack it. So again, that's sort of like surplus to requirements. If it falls off, it falls off. I was not really worried about that one. I just kind of left it in for the hell of it. If, yeah, any of you like trying to stick a loaf all over the place, then yeah. That's another one. That's another tick in the box. So yeah, I went to the farm thing. Got my trailers loaded. I've only got one Dan, so I'm towing like a trailer, and then I'm winched to another trailer. I managed to get through that ice pretty decent. All at the start and everything, Dan was doing pretty well. Here, I kind of knew this would be a bit of an issue, but because he's only got one front axle, as you can see, once that first axle just drops down, there's nothing else, there's no other bunches of tyres. And see, this is now, and so it begins. The game just starts trolling me. The ice fired out the floor, spanned my Tatrin round, and yeah, I'm kind of now wedged in this gap, and there's not really a lot I can do about it. Started winching to this. I'm in reverse, trying to reverse out of here, but the game's like, nope, it's not having it. And then drop in the hole. Yeah, so again, heavily edited. Long story short, funnily enough, the loaf on the roof fell off, and then the Tatrin nearly fell back in. And genuinely, I should have left it in, really. The loaf was like stopping the Tatrin from fully falling back in, which helped me get out. So again, goddamn professional. It's a good job I left him on the roof. Eventually, though, basically, I got the Tatrin out, then got the loaf out, and then used the Tatrin just to get my front wheels up onto the next bit, and then to see if Dan could actually drive with his sort of own power. And again, I mean, it's not been doing bad. I've not used Dan a whole lot overall, just because I think, the Dolphin, for example, is pretty similar, but it's got the dual front axles, and it just helps, he's got a pretty massive chin on him, to be fair. But yeah, there's a lot of weight kind of all extended, just being held up by that one axle, and as you're bouncing down on bumps, you can get quite a lot of suspension travel because there's only that one lot of axles and suspension absorbing it. So yeah, but overall it's a very good truck. It's a very good hauling truck. But anyway, we got to this point and I started getting stuck in here, which I thought was a bit of a shame because again, it's just these maps just make 90-95% of the trucks null and void. So I had to disconnect the rear trailer and try and winch to some sort of log in front of me. Yeah, that was weird as fuck. I just heard somebody talking in my ear. I just listened back and I can't hear anything. That was a bit creepy. Yeah, anyway, I was having to pull myself through here, but I had a feeling this bug was going to strike. I don't know why, but now I've had to disconnect from the rear trailer. I had a feeling it wouldn't let me re-winch to it. I got a little bit forward, but yeah, it didn't really work, so I just had to sort of winch again. Getting a bit further out here, and for the most part, I was like, sod it, I'll sort of grin and bear it for this bit, because after this we're kind of more on roads. Anyway, go to my rear winch point, and it won't offer me the winch point to the trailer. So I brought the Tatrin and loaf, winched them to the trailer and blah blah blah, and I managed to kind of reset it. So I was just in that mud pit kind of behind this trailer now. And then I got to the next bit, same thing happened, got stuck, had to disconnect the trailer, now it won't let me reattach it. Now I'm trying to use the loaf to kind of reactivate it and all that. For whatever reason this time it was having none of it. Obviously you can see there, the loaf, a goddamn professional, he can winch to it straight away, he can winch to both trailers. But from this trailer, from this truck, Dan, and I don't think it's specifically Dan, it just will not offer me the winch points on that trailer. And that was yesterday, where I was like, sod it, I didn't feel that well yesterday anyway, and then when that just kept trolling me, it was just one of them where it's like, I'm turning the game off, because the amount of bugs I'm getting recently is just seriously eroding my enthusiasm for this game. Like, it's not even a challenge anymore to do the missions, it's just a pain in the arse trying to compensate for all the bugs I get every 2 minutes. Like, the missions aren't anything like they're supposed to be, because I spend the vast majority of my time, trying to get around bugs that shouldn't even be in the game in the first place. So in the end, and then tonight as well, by the way, I reloaded it, it still wouldn't let me reattach to that trailer, even though the entire game computer and everything's been turned off. So yeah, in the end I was like, sod it, I see what you're trying to do, game. So yeah, even though this is my normal playthrough, I went on the mod browser, got myself a Fox's Azov Iceberg, well, a pair of them in fact, and some matching loaves to boot. And yeah, well, I kind of then, originally I was going to just drive both of these to where my Dan was and kind of collect the trailers and all the rest of it. Well, in fact, tonight I actually drove a second Dan there and tried to do it that way. Then they both got stuck and all the rest of it. It was just a giant pain in the arse. So then I completely scrapped the whole mission and then got these two and just got their own separate trailers, and now I'm going to get a load more pipes. So yeah, that's where it was supposed to be with Dan. But I've ended up just like, no, I'm sick and tired of all the bugs, so for this one I'm doing mods, because the annoying thing is, it's not even a hard mission. It's literally take 2 lots of large pipes across the map. It's nothing particularly crazy or anything, but the game was just, yeah, adamant that I'm not going to be able to do it. Not how I want to anyway, it's like you have to do it I don't know, the way the game says you have to do it. I have to say though, it's a lot better using these. It was kind of pretty obvious it would be, but it was, yeah, after all the bugs I've had, especially in the last few days, the last few videos I've made, it's been more about bugs than doing the mission itself. Yeah, it was nice to get these. This kind of cuts out all the boring terrain that makes you go half a mile an hour and all the rest of it. Quite a lot of things, they obviously stay balanced a lot better. They hold trailers a lot quicker. I could cut across places. I think, oh no, I don't know if I did it this time. Even when I left the garage, I went flying across the snow that normally you can't, because you'll go super duper slow. And yeah, for this one I kind of ran 2 different versions, or 2 setups of the Azov Iceberg. In this one, basically, for my own curiosity, I kind of already knew, so there wasn't really much need, but I've put the saddle low, or the step decks thing on this one, and then yeah, the one behind's got the ramped flatbed, which obviously I hate, and I could have set them both up just to have like 2 step decks. I just kind of wanted to see, for my own strange amusement, what would happen. Kind of place your bets on if any are going to tip, which one do you think will tip first. You see, even cutting through this part, to be fair, Dan was doing pretty good up to now. The only reason I didn't leave all the footage in, because to be honest, I don't know, the video would be 20-25 minutes just by the point that I say, sod it, I'm getting these Azovs out, and then obviously you've got another 20 odd minutes. Yeah, it'd just be another 45 odd minute video for essentially a mission that should take 15-20 minutes or something. So yeah, I was just like, sod it, I'll heavily edit it, and we're done. I didn't go bed again either last night. I think I've only been bed about 3 times since the last live stream, but I'll still be doing that later. The good thing about not going to sleep for me is the next day I get that feeling of tiredness. It's a good feeling. Yeah, even going over here, even though it has only got 1 axle at the front, it's still, I think that just between the tyres being big enough, there's enough ground clearance and all the rest of it, it can kind of jump the gap. But you can see there, not only does it jump the gap, but I kind of rally over that little mound in the middle. Yeah, I just dropped the hammer at this point. I was pretty sick and tired of the mission and this part of the map and just the slow boring glitchiness in general. So yeah, by now it was like full on, I don't care, I'm just flooring it, I don't care if it's unrealistic. I put the top upgrade possible on everything. There's goddamn horse chilling. He was the one who was originally got the trailer bug thing, the winch thing to work, but yeah, that second time it was just having none of it. With the Taiga, with another Dan, with sorry, not the Taiga, the Tatrin, the loaf, everything. And then tonight, when I actually had both Dans, I got to this point, and it took a lot of winching from the Tatron in the end. I had the Tatron kind of sat here on the corner, which is pretty convenient. This is my fault. I knew now. I should just disconnect them really, but I was like, sod it. Drop the hammer, let's see. Yep, it tipped. So I won't blame the ramped flatbed for that, because I did basically like try and tug it round that, what was it this time? A lamppost. And yeah, there's like a little concrete post next to the lamppost. And I think like my inside tyre just sort of bumped up on that, and that was it. So anyway, cut that out. The nice thing is I just showed there is obviously on the Azov Iceberg it's got an autonomous winch with plenty of reach and plenty of strength, so once you attach it to something, I'll flip my truck. I've got a crane on both of them. I've got the KRS Bandit crane on the red one, I've got like the normal sort of blue Russian crane on this one. There's a trailer from earlier when I finally abandoned Dan. There's the Tatron. That's how far I got them before I was like, sod this, I'll be here for another half an hour just to get 10 yards down the road. And yeah, there's a roadblock up here, which obviously I cleared the other day when I was doing that build additional farmhouses mission, that also went horrifically wrong. At this point though, it's so just nice. I'm able to stay in high gear. I've got a whole nice, fat, long, juicy road train on the go. Got myself a pair of goddamn professionals. It's looking pretty good. And yeah, for the live stream, I suppose technically later or slash tomorrow, whenever. Yeah, I'll be doing a modded one, because I honestly just can't be arsed with the normal game at the minute. I really can't, not with all the bugs. I don't know, like, it's always been pretty buggy anyway, but I don't know what it is the last few days. It's absolutely hammered me with bugs. So, yeah, not that you necessarily avoid the bugs completely with mods, but the mods work better than the stuff that's in the base game, so that cuts out a lot of stuff. And more to the point, it kind of nullifies the over-the-top nerfing of everything. Like, how I'm travelling now, I don't think is particularly unrealistic or anything. Even now, it was so nice driving these, I was like, oh, we'll have a quick go. I'll go over this water. We'll see, can this thing make it or not? Because it's only the low... Bruce, yeah, Bruce did make it coming the other way 2 out of 3 times. Yeah, the Loaf is the only... And I'm not even joking with that. The Loaf is the only vehicle that's crossed both directions every single time I've sent a Loaf across. Everything else has, yeah, got stuck at some point or the other. Most things have never even made it. And yeah, pretty nicely. This thing made it hassle-free. And certainly, like, I don't know, I'd say closer to how it should be. I mean, at the end of the day, it's another thing again where if they're just going to make something that means 99% of vehicles can't go that way, they've sort of wrecked it for themselves, because then it isn't even a challenge anymore. It's now don't go that way. Like, it's as simple as that. Yeah, they've gone so far with it that they've just priced it out the current trucks that they offer us, and it's just, yeah, it sort of just becomes a place to avoid, really. But yeah, there you go, there and back. This thing handled it pretty damn well. And we're good to go at this point, but I just disconnected the road train because it looked like it was going to catch on a post, and as I'd already rolled it, I don't know, 2 or 3 times by this point, through my own stubbornness, I finally learnt. I just cut that out, but yeah, it was only just back there a bit for the main part there. I was really crossing the water, having a good old time. And I believe this here is more like Death Snow. It was pretty insanely slow with every other vehicle I brought the other day. Even if they had trailers or not, to be honest, it was just one of those sections that makes you go pretty slow. So yeah, again, that was pretty smooth sailing through there. Certainly quick enough, like, or even though it's slow, it's still an engaging level of snow. It's not like watching paint dry slow. It's, yeah. And again, you can sort of see there, you've got to go pretty wide. That's not these trains, it happens with anything, but you can sort of see the tension between the 2 road trains is like, pulls my step deck and like pulls it tighter into the corner, so even if I go really wide, it ends up making it kind of cut the corner quite a lot. And yeah, that's the only sort of like, a lot of the missions on these phases yeah, pretty much not that bothered about doing at the minute anymore, because like I said, the bugs are just driving me mad. The one thing I do want to do, though, more than one thing, but is all the contracts in general. I want to get this rocket launched, I want to see that happening, so I'll still be doing all that and everything, but yeah, it's just, I don't know, not been having much of a fun time on the game recently, to be honest, just again, because of relentless bugs, which is a shame, because like, I still enjoy the idea of the game, and I like to give it a go and all the rest of it, but yeah. At the minute, I mean, I don't know, it'd be like owning a really nice car, and then it's just constantly flashing up like, engine fault, go and see a mechanic, and it's like, oh god, this isn't why I bought this car. I bought it to enjoy it, not to keep trying to repair what's bloody wrong with it. I would kind of like to use that big Arnie truck they've added recently, but to be fair, this is my non-modded playthrough, so I rarely, if ever, have any mods of any sort on this playthrough. I have one or two when I've just reviewed them, so I've not done any missions with them. This will be, I believe, the first missions I've done with mods, but as I said, I don't even consider it a difficult mission. I don't doubt that I'd be able to get these long pipes to where they need to go. But it was just a case of salvaging a bit of sanity and enjoyment, and yeah, like I said, every time bugs are happening, it's just kind of eroding my patience and enthusiasm for the game, so hence why yesterday I just turned it off before it drives me mental, and then today it was like, okay, plan B, whip out the icebergs, and we're good to go. Not looking where I'm going. It's a pretty standard issue for me. And you can probably tell, some of you guys, yeah, there's a large pipe missing off the ramped flatbed. Surprise, surprise. I hadn't noticed at this point. I was, to be honest, too busy just kind of flooring it and trying to get a nice fluent road train going around the corners without catching all the lampposts and everything. Kind of flew in the ditch there, but you can see how well low down this is weighted. Like, I'm not sure how he's achieved it. I believe he's put like a lot of weight in the actual tyres themselves, which is probably a pretty clever way around it, because I don't 100% know if it would work like this, but it sort of makes sense. That is now where I've noticed, like, oh my god damn it, there's not a large pipe on the trailer. Yeah, like, as the weight's in the wheels and they're the things actually rotating and being powered, I don't know, it's almost like you've got the weight that keeps you stable, but it doesn't feel like it's added weight that slows you down really, because they're the things that are also driving. I don't know, and I could be wrong with that. Either way, it's a very well, nicely balanced machine. Like I say, in full upgrade mode, yeah, there's plenty of other options if you want to tone it down a little bit. So I was looking now back along the road, I've just been like, where the bloody hell is this large pipe? Typical, it's basically just after I cut through the water, so it managed to fall off within seconds. So I drove back there, loaded it onto the trailer. I had to kind of put it in that jackknife position there just to be able to reach the trailer, otherwise it kept saying impossible to load. And yeah, we'll set off again. And again, you can see how much I'm leaning, and that would have been pretty close, but I didn't tip. But yeah, the bloody trailer tipped again. Just had to pause for a second and eyeball it. Like, oh my god. See, somehow the trailer managed to flip like to the right and then the left then. All within the space of about a foot. And yeah, it was being a pain in the ass to get it back on. I was like, do you know what? Fuck you, trailer. You can stay there. It'll be a free range trailer. I'm just dropping the hammer like this. Now again, if I'd taken a few seconds, I probably could have lined the crane up like in line with me, but I was like, no, you can catch every goddamn telegraph pole on the way for all I care. I'm gonna do it the stubborn way. It's the only way the game deserves at this point. And again, I'm not going to leave all that in. You get a few like this though. It catches perfectly, like... Don't do a big old wheelie, but we got away with that one. In fact, we got away with just about everything. I caught it on near enough every single telegraph pole. Going through here, it's like, please just glitch through. Nope. Got me good. Mere yards away. But again, that's what I like. Oh, I cut that out, but basically, I had enough winch length to reach something over there that didn't move, and I flipped myself in, 2 seconds. Loaded the loaf back in, there's no way I was leaving a goddamn professional behind with like 10 metres to go. Got to this point, obviously you need a trailer to be able to pack it on, so I already knew I had the step deck here, but yeah, don't cut your ramped flatbed loose if you haven't got any other trailer here. Stick it on that one though, pack it, job's a good one, done. Funnily enough, 12.5 grand. Is it just me, or do they keep paying 12.5 grand for every mission, no matter what? Whether it's like difficult, medium, or low. Anyway, that's about it for today, though. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my Patreon members. Get yourself a loaf and an iceberg, and I'll be back soon.